Father Cornelius, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing, Jonathan. I'm doing okay. How are you?
Fantastic. Thanks so much for joining the podcast. Exciting times at St. Luke's, where you're the pastor in Washington, D.C. You all are really busy all the time, of course, but really busy now, especially with the ecumenical season of creation, right? What do you all have going on? And just tell us more about that.
Yes. Thank you for inviting me to join in this podcast. Yes, we are joining in the celebration of the season of creation. Of course, we're grateful to be living in the world created by God Himself. So we're most excited. We planned to have some kind of a talk where people can come and share their opinion. That will be in the later date. But this Sunday, we're going to have, we call it a Laudato Si Mass, where we will reflect on how grateful we are to God for keeping us within the creation that He Himself made. And during the Mass, we'll reflect deeply on how we ourselves can do our part to keep creation going, not only for ourselves, but for the people who will come after us. We will also gather and fellowship, and hopefully we can sign up some folks to be, to journey with us, to be active. We already have groups who take care of our gardens and all of that, but we need to sign up a little bit more. As a matter of fact, the goal is to make sure everybody's doing something, whether within the local church or doing something at home.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very exciting to hear about. What does that mean, Laudato Si Mass? How does that, you have your regular Mass, and then what does it mean if it's a Laudato Si Mass,
What that means is that we want to pay closer attention. As a matter of fact, a few weeks ago, our Archdiocese is giving a special credence to this beautiful encyclical by Pope Francis after 5 years. They're calling our Cardinal Gregory is calling upon all members of our Archdiocese to take a deep look on what we can do to help sustain creation, because we have a serious ecological crisis going on. And so this Mass is to pay, the rubrics is not going to change. It's still going to be within the 25th Sunday in ordinary time. But within this Mass, we hope to get maybe one or two animators or after the homily to help conscientize each and every one of us. So that's why we're calling it a Laudato Si Mass. After all, Laudato Si simply means praise be to you. And that's what we do at Mass, right? We're already praising God, we're glorifying God. So we're praising God for giving us creation. And the songs and all we will do will be focused towards reminding us that we need to praise God for His greatness towards us, and also our own part in maintaining the great deeds that the Lord Himself had done. So that's why it's a special, we call it a Laudato Si Mass, just to hone down and just to make sure that everybody's aware of what we are all called to do and to be part of.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I like the animators taking part as well, of course. The Laudato Si animators, a program within Laudato Si movement, and really encouraging. Do you have a good bit of a fair number of Laudato Si animators at St. Luke's as well? It's kind of a growing program.
Building that. Yeah, we're still building that. We got a couple of folks who are very, very interested, and that's why the Laudato Si movement is coming into play, just to help us. You can't give what we don't have. We have to first know before we're able to give knowledge about creation. And so I'm hoping that we can have a very good relationship in such a way that the movement will help train some of our folks here at St. Luke's, and then we can continue to train others and to bring it to bear, because sometimes people are just in denial that there's nothing going on, and that's not what we want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then just grow it from there. What why celebrate the season of creation? I guess just overall, you have a lot of competing demands as a pastor. You're always busy. There's always, people pulling at you and different programs pulling at you, etc. Why make time to really celebrate this special time of the year?
I've always been a big fan of nature. I was born in Nigeria. I was born in Lagos. And if you know Lagos very well, Lagos is very rowdy and, it's like the New York of Africa. But I also my family come from Imo State, Sekenesi to be precise. So when I go home and go to the village and I encounter nature and the beauty and the quietness and the beautiful sceneries and the breeze and the trees, it's something it does to me. It gives me that energy. I'm always attuned with nature. I can hear myself think. I study philosophy, so I've always loved some peace and quiet so that I can think and just get my mindset going. And so from there, I started developing a very keen interest in nature. Yes, I've been put aside from one studying philosophy and theology and doing my doctorate and all of that. But yet I never lost that edge. Sometimes when I want to go on vacation, I go somewhere that I can encounter nature. And when we go on our annual retreats, that's the best of times for me to get away from the city and just go somewhere and just relax and enjoy nature. And so I've always been a fan, and I've followed science, and I understand that there are things that we do as human that we are actively doing right now that is hampering nature. And so I became interested, and after being a pastor, I've been doing the best that I can to help my parishioners understand that nature should be preserved. I always believe in this theory that you leave a place better than you met it. And so that's the way I wanted to treat nature, wanted to leave. When I depart this earth, I wanted to make sure that I've done my best to leave it much better than I met it. And so I've always been a big fan, and it's interesting. Nature is beautiful. I know some people don't, admire it, and, to each his own, but I know I'm a big fan of nature. And that's why since I became a pastor, I've been doing the best. I've been doing a whole lot of programs just to make sure that we surround ourselves with nature, even in the midst of this busy District of Columbia and city.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so Lagos and DC, DC's not quite New York, but a similar rhythm there, I'm sure, for you.
Yeah.
What tell us more then too about your journey to become the pastor of St. Luke's. You said you're from Nigeria and grew up in Lagos, and then how did your faith journey, how did you hear God calling you to become a priest, and then where, and back up and tell us more about that story.
Yeah, I developed my vocation a little bit later because I've always wanted to become a medical doctor. I have this love for being around people and making sure I bring joy. And at some point I felt that going into medicine will be my best bet. And so when I was planning my studies, I was also discerning a vocation because my pastor in Lagos at that time, Father Leo Flynn, he's Irish. He always, very close to my dad. My dad was the parish council chairman at that time. So he would come to the house and he would tell us that, that he needs to go become a priest. And so I didn't take that seriously.
Sorry, this is a parish. It was a friend of your father's.
Yes, the pastor is a close friend of my dad.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so he would come to your house and tell your dad, hey, he needs to be a priest. This is his future. He saw it.
Seriously, he would come to dinner on a Sunday and say he needs to go be a priest. And I'm saying to myself, what is he talking about? I always wanted to become a doctor. I wanted to be married. To be honest with you, my goal was to have 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. Because I know if I have 2 girls, I have a larger chance of being taken care of, No, no disrespect to the guys, you know. I know girls always take care of their dad. So that's my mindset. That was what was on my mind. But I started thinking about it, and I applied. I did apply to the missionaries of St. Paul and so St. Patrick's. And then while I was waiting for a response, I met a Josephite priest who was from the United States, Father William Novel. We call it Father Bill. So he came to my parish and he was standing in for the pastor and he did mass and he invited young men to see him after mass. And so I went. I was young, you know, just went over to hear. And he just literally told us, I need you to write me a letter of application. And so I took a leap of faith, I wrote, and that's how I got into the Josephites. And then I studied philosophy, the missionaries of St. Paul in Abuja, and we were affiliated to the University of Port Harcourt, and I got my bachelor's in philosophy. And when I finished, and that was the rule with Josephite, you finish your bachelor's and then you come over to the United States for your theology. And so I came with my classmates over here and studied theology at the Washington Theological Union and was ordained in 2013 at the Basilica of the National Shrine, Immaculate Conception. And the rest is history. The same day I was ordained, the same day I was made a pastor of St. Luke. And so I didn't have enough chance to go for a honeymoon, you know, to just go around and visit friends. I had just was thrown deep into the ministry. And it's been a fruitful journey thus far. My faith in the people and my faith in God has really kept me going. And the people were excellent. I couldn't have asked for a better folks to begin my ministry as a priest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Backing up just a little bit though, you said you were thinking medical school and then you kind of said, oh, then I applied to become a priest. What pulled you off of that medical school path? Like what specifically happened or what things happened that made you think, you know, I'm actually being called this other way?
Well, my goal was to go to Imo State University, but I went over for the first week and I didn't like it. I didn't like the place, to be honest with you. I was, I wouldn't say homesick, but I just was not surrounded by people and things that will enrich me. And so I came back home and I told my dad that I may still want to go to medical school, but not in the University of Imo State University. I may have to try something else. So while I was planning on applying to another university, my dad told me, you know what, why not consider apply, you know. And so I said, okay, while I was waiting.
Consider and apply to be a Josephite?
No, to be a priest in general. So gotcha, I applied to two congregations, MSPs and SPS, St. Patrick's Fathers. But eventually I ended up joining the Josephite because they acted a little bit more quicker. And they offered me something that I was actually looking forward to doing. Father Novo told us that we'd be working with an African American, and I've always loved rap. I used to be called a rapper, Shabba Ranks, when I was younger. So I love rap, and I always loved Will Smith, Denzel. You know, I got Queen Latifah. You know, I had a really good connection with the African American communities, even in Lagos. You know, we really do a lot of African American movies and stories, and so that was the game changer for me. When I was told I was going to be working with African American community, that was a game changer for me.
And that is the Josephites primarily work with African American communities?
Yes.
All of them. Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah. And did you apply then almost like a favor to your dad? Or I mean, you were heavily thinking about it, obviously, but I mean, was it kind of, okay, I'll go along with this and then kind of see, or what? What were you thinking?
Just to get him off my back, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just, I mean, come on, man. Okay, I'll just do it. And in reality, I've always told young people when I talk to them, I said, you know, sometimes people can push us into our vocations. Other times we can come to our vocations. I know personally, I never slept and dreamt and saw the Lord call me and you come over here. No, none of that. I had people around me who saw something in me that I wasn't seeing. Father Leo Flynn was seeing something when I was maybe 4 or so. I heard he was telling everybody, because he was a pastor for a long time. That
4 years old. You were 4 years old, and he saw something you're 4.
Yeah, and said, he's going to be a priest. I didn't take that seriously, And then my father says, you're frustrated, you're home, just apply. And I said, okay, just to do whatever he'll get. It was with great dad. Can never ask, but sometimes he has a way of talking you into doing things, even though it's for your own favor. So I did it because, we had a conversation and I did it. I applied because of that. And God's grace had always been sufficient since then.
God took it from there then.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't let that reference to you being a fan of rap go by without inquiring more as well. So you have always been a fan of rap. How do you go ahead.
Well, I went to a Catholic school. It was a boarding school, St. Kizito. And, we always gravitate to something. I gravitated towards rap. I love the Coolio. I love, most of Shakur's, Tupac Shakur's beats and his songs. I definitely love Notorious B.I.G. And there are quite a few other folks that I really admired. And I could sing, and I still sing. So during talent shows, if we ask, do something fresh, don't do what everybody else is doing. So I chose to learn a couple of raps, and that's how I was referred to as Shabba Ranks, because I did sing a lot of Shabba Ranks at that time, even though his own raps and song was a little bit different from Shakur and Tupac and B.I.G.
Shabba Rocks? Spell that for us.
Shabba Ranks.
Yeah, how you spell the name? That's the name of a rapper.
Yes.
Yeah.
SHABBA, and then Ranks. Yes.
Ranks. Okay, just like that.
Yeah.
Mm. Tupac, yes. Coolio, yes. Notorious B.I.G, yes. But I never heard of Shabba Ranks, but that works.
Oh yeah.
I know. And
just look him up. In
I'm gonna have to. Yeah.
80s and early 90s, he was the bomb.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Mr. Lover Man, Shabba.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's just
we're on it. We'll leave some links in the show notes. Do you have like a favorite rap that you sometimes maybe bust out during a homily, that you could share with us here? Or I mean, people will be thinking, well, I need to hear Father Cornelius rap. I mean,
well, I know I've done Coolio with Living in Gangsta's Paradise a couple of times for when I was, talking with young people, because I live in a neighborhood where a lot of gun violence is the order of the day. But then I live with so many great young men, and so I will always remind them, sometimes we spend the most of our lives living in a gangster's paradise, right? Tell me why we have to do all of that. It's sad, but it's a beautiful song, and we sometimes walk in the valley of the shadow of death, and we take a look at our life and realize that that's nothingness, right? Too many watching televisions, and it's a good song to, most of the young people don't know it, so I always send them a link, said, listen to this song, and it will always tell you that we don't have to spend all our lives just living in a gangster. We don't want to be thugs and just become nuisance to the community. And that's what the song is all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's before their time, clearly.
It was before their time. Yeah.
Classic 90s.
Yes.
90s, yeah. Classic 90s rap, but yeah, before their time. And what's the reaction when you send it to young people today?
Oh, the first time I say, I don't know him, but then one or two, yeah, because it's not Lil Wayne and all the folks that they know today, but most times I've encountered a few of the young people who will listen to it and say, this is very educational. And I told them that's what brought me to rap, because rap is all about telling a story. And that's what it is. And today, what we hear is not actually telling a story of an incident or of an encounter. What we hear today, it's, degrading women and, talking only about money. And in reality, rap has lost a lot of its credentials. And hopefully, I tell the young people, if any of you will go into rap, I wish you can listen to the old guys, the past, and just see. Rap is great. It's beautiful. It's a way. It reminds us. It reminds me personally of some of our African tradition. We have a music style in Africa that is almost like rap, where somebody will just to a beat, just tell history, and that's what rap is all about. But then today we're losing it. We're focusing on things that are not worthy to be focused on.
Mm-hmm. What a tool, kind of like an avenue to reach young people with too. I mean, being a fan of rap and saying, oh yeah, a way to relate with young people for you as well as a priest.
Yeah, talent night. We have our young adult night. I know for the past year and a half, almost two now, we've not done so much. We've done Zoom, and this young people are zoomed out, to be honest with you. It's been school and catechism and everything is on Zoom. We prepared people for the sacraments for the past year and a half via Zoom. So we haven't really gone back to our fellowship. We will have nights where we will cook, I'll cook, and we'll get some other food and make sure that we relax and eat and just talk. And we bust into songs. Sometimes we just sing along. And I think that's a way we can reach young people. As a pastor, I know the best way to actually be in the life of my young adults and the youth is actually to be present, to listen to them and to make sure that they have someone to talk to at any time. Is the best means for me. Mm-hmm. And it's been working. We have great young people here. A lot of them are college and doing well. Most of them have graduated and they are living and trying to build their own family. So each time I see them progress in life, that gives me a sense of joy and sense of purpose as well.
For sure. That seems as good of a place as any to end it on. Father Cornelius, thank you so much for making time. I know you have a lot going on, so we will let you go. This might be our most, I don't want to say our most diverse range of topics we've had yet on the podcast. So that is an extremely good compliment. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.